Our next stop, the Cowboys host the Eagles on Sunday, trailing them by 3.5 games in the standings in the East. C.D. Lamb and Dak Prescott talking about the stakes in this matchup against their longtime rival.
We could treat this as if we're in the playoffs, if you want to think of it that way. Win or go home. I feel like that's the situation that we're in, and I feel like that's the right mindset that we got to have going into every game.
I like the CD said, it's like a playoff game, and whether it's shot at 0-0 or however you want to think about it, all of these are must win, but we got to take them one at a time. And right now it's Philly, a hell of an opponent, great division rival, and no better place to start than right now.
All right, so let's look ahead to this monster game on Sunday that will determine so much, including just how entertained we are by Thanksgiving and everything else with the Cowboys. Bart, you're my resident defensive guru here. So one of two things happened on Monday night. Either this new-look Cowboy defense with the new faces, the players they acquired, the players they got back healthy, is much better.
Or the Raiders
are so bad that we can't take anything from it. Which is it?
Both can be true.
Okay.
You know, and
One absolutely is.
I tell you what, when you talk about securing the interior part of this defensive line, you talk about Quinnen and Kenny Clark. You know, you got interior pressure where guys can't step up. Like, people forget just how dominant a player Quinnen is. Not only is he dominant against the run, but he's a guy that gives you pass rush from the inside. A couple of years ago, he had 12 sacks. He just didn't have anybody next to him. But now that also makes him a plus multiplier. Look at that. Where are you going to step up from? And you talk about on the outside with Clowney, you talk about Fowler as well. This is a recipe for success because now you have an adult behind you manning the coverage and Logan Wilson that can control sideline to sideline, but also get guys lined up and be able to be responsible in the pass game as well. If Bland can step up and just give you a little bit of defense, then that gives you impact players at every level. And with this offense that the Cowboys have, you're going to be able to pin your ears back and be able to rush the passer.
So that's the flip side of it. The Eagles' defense we know is great.
Yep.
And they have held in consecutive weeks Green Bay and Detroit, good offensive teams, to basically nothing. Do Dak and CD and Pickens and them, can they put up points against this Eagles defense?
Oh, yeah, because we know if I'm Dallas, I'm getting into my 3 wide receiver sets, and I'm finding somebody who's not Quinyon Mitchell or Cooper
Adoree
DeJean.
Jackson.
I'm finding them. Yeah, I'm going to continuously hunt
Let's
that
be clear
matchup.
what we're talking. We're talking about the Eagles will have a weak spot in their secondary, and the Cowboys might be able to take advantage of it.
Absolutely. They did in week 1. They just didn't catch the football, and it's not really changed now. The pass rush with the addition of Jalen Phillips has gone up, but if you're Dallas and you have multiple receivers and a tight end that can continue to create matchup problems, you're just searching that person out, and it's trying to find them and trying to find different ways to get them the football. I asked Hawk yesterday, because here's the thing that Dallas is doing. George on one side, CD on the other. So if you want to take Quinyon and put him over there versus Pickens, God bless you. Cool, I don't need to throw it to him. Now I have CD Lamb opposite him. Is it Cooper? Is it Adoree Jackson? I'm just searching where Adoree Jackson is and continuing to try to find completions that way.
I'm not breaking news here when I tell you that the Dallas offense can score a ton of points, whoever's on defense. And they had a ton of yards against the Eagles in week 1. The issue is going to be with this Eagles team, if the pot is right now like sizzling right now, what if they actually lose this game to Dallas? Everything feels like, okay, there's so much drama, but we win. There's so much strife, but we win. If the Cowboys take care of business and beat the Eagles, like that's when the dysfunction part starts really building. It's like, okay, it was one thing when we were winning, but now if our defense can't bail us out and Dallas's offense puts all these yards on us, now we're looking in the mirror and saying, now what? We still have half a season left to go.
So I agree with that. They'll be fine, but here's what has to happen for Philly in this game. This game will come down to Philly's offense and Jalen Hurts, okay? Philadelphia philosophically has to say, Jalen, it's your season. Last year, it was Saquon's year. Okay, last year, they rode Saquon. They have to ride Jalen Hurts.
Have you seen any indication in the first 12 weeks of the season that anyone on that Philly offensive coaching staff wants to put the ball in Jalen's hand and say, Jalen, it's your season?
No, but I'm telling you guys right now, Kevin Patullo, Nick Sirianni, you have to put the ball in Jalen's hands on early downs. This isn't the Saquon-led offense. This is not the same run game that on first down last year you can hand it off and get 7 yards. You have to throw the ball on first down. If Philly wants to win this game, you throw the ball on first down. The Cowboys are going to line up in the same coverage on first down every single play if you're running the same stuff. They have to turn the thought process over to we are going to be a Jalen Hurts-led offense, not a Saquon-led offense.
See, this is a fascinating conversation, so I turn to my wide receiver. And I say there probably isn't a game you could have in the NFL where you would have better wide receiver matchup. You got, on one side, you got Pickens and Lamb, and they're flying high. Yeah. On the other side, you've got Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, and it says on our screen they are 28th in passing in the NFL. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. What do you expect Sunday?
It doesn't make sense, but I will say this. I think the Dallas Cowboys offense, they're going to be so ferocious that it puts that much pressure on Jalen Hurts and that offense to have to score.
And can they do it? Will they do it?
I don't think so. I don't think so right now. I really don't.
You think if the game goes in the hands of Jalen Hurts, the way Dan is saying, put it in his hands, you think that works against the Eagles' best advantage?
I do, because you're asking him to do something that he's not accustomed to doing on a consistent basis.
What?
Like throw the football over the middle of the football field, be consistent in making plays, and every one of their wins how many blowout wins does Philadelphia have this season?
Very few.
They only put up 16 points last week.
But they did beat Minnesota through the air, and that was a very good pass defense. And the game plan in that game was Jalen Hurts, you take us, and he threw for 340.
I'm just
and
telling
it was
you
the
guys,
one game all
they
year.
can do
You're
it.
right. It was the outlier.
They can do it.
I'm telling you guys, if you put two tight ends on the field, Philadelphia, on first down, and you run play action, Dallas will line up in the same coverage all the time, and you will gut them. The Raiders did it last week.
But
the Raiders did it. They just didn't do it enough.
But here's the thing. Without the threat of Saquon Barkley, I don't care about your play action if I'm a linebacker. If I'm Logan Wilson, I don't care. I'm not buying up to that, because I believe my defensive tackles, can handle that, because they're 1.5 men.
You mean to tell me you're not scared of Saquon Barkley on first down?
No, hell no.
We're going to find out two things.
Who is Saquon?
He hasn't been himself this year. But Dan is dismayed. So we're going to find out two things. We're going to find out, is that Cowboys defense really much better? And if the Eagles are forced to throw it, can they do it?
No Lane Johnson is huge.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Eagles are playing without some of the best tackles in football.
I'm like box.
So to this jam-packed AFC playoff picture, take a look at the wild card races. Right now, the Chargers, Bills, and Jags have those. But the teams that are in the hunt, the Texans are there. We talked about the Chiefs, the Ravens. All three of those teams, Houston, KC, Baltimore, won their divisions last year. And so we've talked a lot about the Houston defense this morning, and they deserve it. They were spectacular last night. And to me, it feels like defense is kind of becoming the story of the season in the NFL right now. Look what Denver's doing with their defense. Look what the Eagles are doing with their defense, and now Houston. But I want to go back to Buffalo here for a minute. I mean, Harry, this was supposed to be their year. And I mentioned it at the top of the show. What's wrong? If you were to put your finger on what is wrong with the Buffalo Bills and why is it they are nowhere near what we thought they would be, what is it?
I think, number one, when you look at Josh Allen and the playmakers on this offense, I don't feel like Josh Allen fully trusts guys outside of James Cook. And that's in the wide receiver group, that's in the tight end position, and then across the board, the skill position players, they're in and out of the lineup. There's no consistency in that capacity. You touched earlier, Peter Schrager, about Keon Coleman and what he has to be. He doesn't have time to grow up. He needs to grow up right now, because this is the window for Buffalo, and you don't want to lose it. And every time you have an opportunity to go out there and cash in, you want to do that. Now, here's the part that I thought got lost in the entire ballgame, is the defense of the Buffalo Bills. The second, right before halftime, 3 drives for the Houston Texans. Touchdown, field goal, touchdown. You can't tell me that you're a Super Bowl contending team and a backup quarterback in Davis Mills is leading 3 straight scoring drives before halftime.
Yeah, but you cannot put last night on that defense.
Yeah,
Like, first of all,
but here's what I'm saying, Dio.
But they're not good.
But I don't expect that defense to allow Davis Mills to go down and score a touchdown before halftime.
But the offense gave Houston 6 points because of the fumble by Shakir and the interception by Josh. So there's been moments when we can be critical of that defense. If you told everybody Buffalo's
23.
defense is only going to give up 17 really because they got given 6 points, you would fully expect Josh Allen to win that game.
That's fair. But, Bart, your old coach, Rex Ryan, sits with me on Sundays and Mondays. I don't know why anyone throws the ball against Buffalo. I mean, I'm just a fan. I'm just watching the game like a normal person. Every time you run the ball against them, you get 4 yards, 5 yards, 9 yards up the corner. Their run defense is it's really bad. And I don't know that anyone can win anything if they can't stop the
Well,
run.
that's fair, but that's also conceptually how they go about defense, playing in basically a sub type of personnel. They want to bait you to that because they don't think you can continue to run the ball down the field without getting a holding penalty or something to get behind the sticks.
Okay.
But you hit something last week, and I think they're really missing a guy like Mac Hollins. They're missing a guy that's a threat down the field, a guy that he can trust. And